You're now seeing more and more powerful Democrats wading into rhetorical territory that they've been not super comfortable wading into in the past. There were a couple Daily Beast articles. Newsom reignites his theory that Trump has dementia. And then you also have Pritzker warning Trump may have genuine mental health issues. And let me show you, this was the clip that Newsom was responding to. They're both Pritzker, two governors, are both saying what, again, a lot of Democrats stayed way away from. And I think there's a bigger point that I want to make about how much I want Democrats to get broken out of, even if sometimes they say stuff that they decide wasn't the perfect wording or whatever, to break out of the poll. Everything has to be poll checked and focus group checked and triple practiced, because everyone's so sick of that. They're so sick of it. And even today, a lot of clips were circulating to that effect where it's like, oh my gosh, why does it sound like this was written by ChatGPT? Just speak like a person. And so if you get the urge and you're like, dementia, scream it out. That's one thing we got to learn from Trump. Apparently, Americans want you to just shout stuff out whenever you think of it and do the weave. So this was something
I do the weave.
Trump said.
Wonder why would they do it? But they're hurting our country, and we're really taking it back one by one. If we didn't go into Los Angeles early on in the administration, the commissioner, the chief of police, Los Angeles, said, if they didn't go in, we would have lost our city. Now, they already lost 25,000 houses to fire because they wouldn't let the water come in from the Pacific Northwest, which they should have done. And I told you, you better do it. They didn't do it, and we had 25,000 homes where they had no water in their sprinklers, they had no water in the fire hydrants.
So he keeps repeating this lie that Newsom didn't let the water flow, and Trump wanted the water to flow, but then Trump let the water flow and it flowed to the wrong place. So Newsom responded just with a screenshot asking, I guess some AI, is not having a sense of reality a symptom of dementia? And the response was yes, losing a sense of reality, such as perceiving things that aren't real or believing things aren't true, can indeed be a symptom of dementia. I don't know, I'm not a doctor. But again, he wants to say it, throw it out. Then Pritzker also dropping the D-bomb.
I genuinely think there is something wrong with him. I wish that his family would intervene because I do think he needs mental health help, and I don't think anybody around him that works for him is going to do that because they're benefiting from his failure of mental health, his dementia. I wish somebody would help out the President of the United States. Meanwhile, he says a lot of crazy things. He doesn't have authority to arrest elected officials or really anybody where you don't have any, example of a crime being committed.
So it feels sensitive, and I've been sensitive in the past. Well, I'm only going to say that there seems to be cognitive decline. Well, that word could evoke. Now,
Cognitively.
picture also the more times, that actually prompted the thought, the more times that they throw that allegation at him, the more times he'll go on a ramble about how he aced the cognitive test, which is never a good look. But those shirts, I went to Disney World and all I got was a sunburn, whatever, I don't know, whatever they put on it. I feel like mine is, I was mindful about my words and all I got was a second Trump administration. Like I spent so much time being, technically maybe, beep. What did it do? We need to break through. And if I am too sensitive sometimes to say certain things, then I think these Democrats should go hard. Mike Nellis was on. I want to continue this thread here in a second. But it was on with David Pakman, and he's worked in Democratic campaigns and kind of emphasized this problem of over hesitance, over focus grouping everything, and not really knowing what people stand for. So it's kind of a silly place to start with the dementia question, but I'll give you other examples, and it's a broader problem, which is what I'm showing you is those, and I'll actually give you a couple other examples of Democrats finally breaking out of that and saying some things that many of their staffers, I'm sure, were like, I don't know, should you say that? But I'm on board now with just say it. While we watch this, please do click the subscribe button right below the video. Check, make sure that you didn't accidentally get unsubscribed. That has happened to people for some reason. And make sure that you are.
I don't want to hear from you what would you diagnose as the issue with Democratic communication right now?
Yeah, it's a big topic.
and I could spend all day talking about it. So I think the first thing is we lack quality candidates who want to run for office, who want to get shit done, and who know what they stand for. The number of candidates that I talk with, many of whom I don't go to work with, who cannot articulate why they are running outside of it's my turn or somebody told me I'd be a good candidate for something, and don't have like a firm grasp of who they are. It is like, it really drives me crazy. And that's why like my people will have heard me talk about Mallory McMorrow 1,000 times. Like I love Mallory McMorrow because she has a clear compass of who she is and what she cares about and what she's fighting for, to the point where I work for her, I might give her advice and she would go, that's not me. I don't say that. And I have lots of candidates that like I can just like, I have candidates who I write stuff for who just say it and don't care what I wrote. You know, they just move on. They're like, oh, that's a good tweet, get it up. And then they don't add their like flavor to it. So that is, I think, the number one thing. And I think the second thing is the Democratic Party super risk averse. We're afraid of offending anybody. We got to wait for a poll. Like, you know, Sarah Lonwell was giving me shit on my show the other day because we were talking about how I was one of the Democratic consultants that was like begging Democrats to talk more about the Epstein files when they first tried to cover it up in the beginning. And I was telling her, like, I was on conference calls all week going, what are you doing? Like, this has real energy to it. Like, get behind it. This is a window in to start talking about what's going on with corruption and Trump. And she was like, see, that's the problem right there. Why are you ever on a conference call having to talk about that? Like, it should be so self-evident that your clients know what they stand for that it's very easy to like shove.
That was a crazy bombshell to me that he was having to say, you should talk more about this because it's the right thing to do. And yes, as a political consultant, it's a politically motivating, clear, moral issue. And for Democrats to be like, not anymore, but for a second, according to him, well, do we know, or would that seem like we're trying to falsely allege that, do we, what would people prefer us to talk about that more or talk about this issue more? Because I agree. I told you, I just stopped doing interviews with politicians because of some of what I personally experienced and some of what I saw for other friends of mine who do a lot. And it's just so exhausting. A lot of these Democrats, some of them are great. Some of them hop on. It's like, go get whatever staffer wrote these talking points for you and I'll just talk to them because clearly they're the ones informing you on all of this. What do you stand? Just say it. Say it with your chest. Doesn't feel like some people stand for anything. And so that's an important part of this next step to deal with the lack of popularity for the Democratic Party, is making sure the candidates are just cutting through the BS, actually seem to stand for stuff, and are willing to be kind of aggressive. On the political point of, do we use the word dementia? I mean, we don't technically know if he has, just boom, something's off with him. Maybe it's dementia. Or he's covering up. I saw Ruben Gallego going, Mike Johnson is protecting pedophiles. Whoa! But can you technically? Yeah, you can. So say it.
True. Let's cut to it. Speaker Johnson is protecting pedophiles. That's what this is all about. The only reason Adelita Grijalva is not being sworn in right now is because he wants to protect whatever is in those files, all the pedophiles that would be revealed.
And of course, Mike Johnson will go, that's so horrifying. How could you say that? But if you're doing anything to help delay the release of the files, I think it's a perfectly honest thread there to say, whether intentional or not, the effect is he's covering up and he's protecting pedophiles. And then, I mean, he's just saying it. It's interesting.
The Arizona Attorney General sent your office a letter asking that Grijalva be seated. Do you have any plans to respond to her? Do you feel you're on good legal standing?
It is no surprise that yet another Democrat politician from Arizona is trying a publicity stunt. I've explained this 1,000 times. We are going to swear in Grijalva as soon as we get back to legislative session. So my advice to all the Democrats in Arizona is to tell their two senators, Kelly and Grijalva and Gallegos, to do their job and vote to open the government so we can move forward with our business.
Okay, first of all, you pedo protector, Speaker Johnson, it's Gallego.
Okay, so calling a pedo protector. That's the type of language, if the roles were reversed, that MAGA would be using. So some people, and I'm trying to show you these to give credit, since a lot of my energy has been very critical. very, very critical. But there are some people clearly hearing the feedback from a lot of the base and going, all right, I'll try to be more aggressive. And there's still so many examples of people just flailing when they're asked tough questions. But I mean, Pelosi lately has been, what? Nancy Pelosi? Look at her. She turns around to a right-wing reporter and goes, shut up.
Congresswoman Pelosi, are you at all concerned that the new January 6th committee will find you liable for that day? Are you at all concerned about the new January 6th committee finding you liable for that day? Why did you refuse the National Guard on January 6th?
Shut up. I did not refuse.
Whoa! How the phone?
Shut up. I did not refuse the National Guard. The president didn't send it. Why are you coming here with Republican talking points as if you're a serious journalist?
The American people want to know.
By the way, whoever that reporter is, Google. Jaden, Google. Let's see. Let's do it together. Who controls the DC National Guard? Just who controls the DC National Guard? Put that up on the screen. Nancy Pelosi. Let's see. Zoom. I can't read that. There we go. Unlike National Guard units in U.S. states and territories which report to their respective governors, the District of Columbia National Guard reports solely to the President of the United States. Solely to the President of the United States. Okay. And unlike Trump posted thinking Biden was president on January 6, 2021, Trump was the president on January 6, 2021. And again, I know some of you, like me, my inclination is, I want to just kill them with kindness. That phrase is a common phrase. I don't like kill. With the good kill. Positively. I want to kindness bomb them. What? I want to send a nuclear weapon of love. This sounds weird. A tomahawk missile of joy is what I want to do to them. Really. And that sound peaceful love is what I wish we could just, they're screaming and they're being extreme. When they go low, we go high. Right? I want that. I don't know if it works. I think people want fighters right now. Political. My gosh. It's just the double meanings are out of control today. And so seeing some of that is good. And then let's check in on Hakeem Jeffries' messaging.
Donald Trump is giving $20 billion to Argentina. What would a Democratic Congress do with that $20 billion?
Well, that $20 billion can actually be used to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits for more than 20 million Americans who are going to otherwise confront dramatically increased premiums, copays, and deductibles that are about to skyrocket because of the unwillingness of Republicans to extend those Affordable Care Act tax credits that benefit everyday Americans. You know, this is a real extraordinary thing, Lawrence, and I'm so thankful that you're covering it. This isn't an America First Act. This is an Argentina First Act. And if Donald Trump can find $20 billion to bail out his right-wing dictator friend in Argentina, it's extraordinary to me that Republicans are unwilling to even have a discussion about how we address the health care crisis that they've created, which of course includes the largest cut to Medicaid in American history, hospitals and nursing homes.
So it's kind of like I'm getting a slight bit of a tingle, of a feeling that at least exactly in this moment, Democrats are on to something messaging-wise. They're finally, like this framing of Trump promised you America first. Now, at the same time that he's both screwing over American farmers, Argentinian farmers are benefiting from the shift in Chinese trade policy, and he's bailing out Argentina because of his buddy and wanting to help him out there, Milei. He's ripping away your health care. He can find $20 billion. I think it actually got doubled to 40 for Milei. But he can't find anything for your healthcare subsidies. That starts getting you like, woo, like kind of that political arousal, right? Where you're sort of like, oh, okay, that actually feels right. And I wish it didn't take this long. That's the part that's a little upsetting. It feels like we've taken a second for Democrats to be all over the place, and there's still not enough making a clear contrast. And it can't just be on MSNBC. You got to be all over the place. Yeah, that Besson said it would be a total of $40 billion for Argentina. But you can't find? That would cover, I think someone ran the numbers, the subsidies for however long that they're even debating over. And, you know, sometimes you just got to turn around to the lies of MAGA and say,
shut up.
Yes. And sometimes they deserve to be told, shut up. I love everyone. I do. MAGA family. I have them. I love them. But at some point, if they're following Benny.
What's up, guys? Benny.
As Benny's saying, just saw President Trump's massive flagpoles in person for the first time. And wow. He actually posted this, a right-wing influencer. Just saw President Trump's massive flagpoles in person for the first time. And wow. Okay, very exciting stuff there for Benny. I'm glad, and I hope they were everything. I hope his flagpole was everything that you've ever dreamed it to be.